Okay, so today I'd like to welcome Glen Mackenzie to just share a bit of your story with us. Welcome, Glen.
Welcome. Thank you, Malcolm.
So, Glen, you and I met how long ago at Cobden Tech?
I reckon it must have been 2011, I reckon, or maybe late 2010. Yeah.
Yeah. And Glen was the school counsellor at Cobden Tech and I'm the school chaplain. So we met there and were involved in some programs together, weren't we, Glen?
Yeah. It was a good time going to Melbourne, doing the Revved Up program, and yeah, it was good.
Yeah. And I suppose out of that connection, you ended up at Naringal Church. How long have you been attending Naringal?
I reckon it's about 6.5 years. I reckon just before I was married in about 2014, we started coming out.
Okay, yep. All right, so tell us a bit about your family, Glen, your family of origin and also your own family.
Yep. So I'm one of four kids. Grew up in Portland, and brought up in a Christian home, I guess. Probably from about age 5 onwards. My father's a pastor, and his wife is too. So I've got a bit of a Christian heritage there, and also my dad's father, Lindsay, he's a Christian too. So and now I have 2 kids myself. I'm married to Adele, who a lot of you might know, and we have a son, Joseph, who's 4, and we have a daughter, Magella, who's will be 2 in December.
Okay, so you grew up with that Christian heritage, and so did that just naturally evolve into your own faith?
Sort of. I mean, like I definitely learnt a lot about God and Scripture and growing up, but I probably wasn't really into it myself that much. But I probably didn't fuss about it too much. I went along to church when I was sort of supposed to, but I guess when I had that autonomy, I didn't choose to continue to do that. But once when I was about 23, I sort of made a commitment for maybe 10 months, and then I sort of end up unfortunately falling away a bit. Yeah.
So you made that initial commitment and then fell away, and so then you made like a second or a further commitment after that?
Yeah, so when I was actually it was really around the time that we sort of got married in 2014. I think that we come to the church a little bit because obviously I'd established a relationship with you and you were marrying us, and I guess we just thought maybe it was respectful just to come and check out what you do as well, and then not long after that, I guess God was working on us and really convicted me to follow Him, I guess. Yeah.
And in that period when you weren't walking with the Lord, was there always sort of something in there in you that was drawing you back, or did you at that time did you think you probably would never be a Christian?
Oh, look, I think I always knew. I was probably the real typical prodigal son, and I think I always knew that I would end up following God, and I guess I was rolling the dice a bit because you can die in life and things like that. So I was probably taking a bit of a silly risk and knew about the fact that if I did die, maybe I'd be separated from Him. I guess maybe like some people, you can have a bit of a wrong image of God sometimes too. Like you can sort of blame Him for the hurt in the world and different things, and not actually realizing that that's Satan's influence on the world. It's not, God doesn't do that stuff. And so maybe I just thought that I didn't like some of the way I perceived God maybe, but then later that got cleared up, and I don't have any of those issues about God.
Yeah. Sometimes it's easy to confuse Christian people with Jesus Himself, isn't it? And we look at poor examples, which we all are, of what it is to be a Christian, and say, well, if that's what God or Jesus is like, then I don't want to be one. But
yeah, exactly. But I did have maybe a couple of years before I come to faith. Again, I did have a vision, and I was really had the fear of the Lord on me, and I he was really chasing me at that time, but I actually just felt like it's not where I wanted my life to go. And after about 2 weeks, that intense kind of thing come to an end, and I rejected, God at that time, which is really quite disappointing now. But it's little things like that too that just help you realize just how real God is, and so I'm grateful for that too, even though I regret walking away from him at that time.
Yeah, yeah. So when you made that sort of second commitment around the time you got married, what changed for you?
I actually was at my sister's house, and there was a really godly man there, and he prayed for me and Adele, and I feel like God used him to remove the barrier that was between me and wanting to have a relationship with God. And because I was really reluctant to want to go to her house, because she sort of told me this guy was going to be there, and kind of some of the things he'd been doing with people, and I guess at that time I was thinking, I'm just happy in my life, I don't want to go there and leave different. But we went there because we were close to the airport. My sister lives in Caroline Springs, so we couldn't really be that close and not visit her. And I just feel like God just used him to remove that barrier that was in the way. And then after leaving there, I was really happy to follow Christ. And you'd even remember too, Malcolm, we took a few trips and we could talk about God the whole way to Melbourne and back. But I wasn't really actively wanting to have a relationship with him. So, I think that Pastor Roy just moved that barrier.
Yeah. So your experience is an example of God pursuing us as much as we pursue God. God sort of kept bringing people into your life that were going to draw you towards him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think what I liked though about the way I came back to follow Christ was it wasn't through hardship. So it wasn't like I was in a hard place and now I'm going to be a fair weather friend. It was actually a pretty good place, but I just wanted to follow him because that just was the right thing to do. Like, he's our creator, and that's it was just the right thing to do.
Yeah. So now, 6 years down the track, married with 2 children, living in suburbia with a mortgage. How does being a Christian impact your life today?
Look, my life is really so different since I'm a Christian. Like I used to probably drink a fair bit, and I used to swear a lot, and probably had a lot of my priorities in the wrong order. And I feel like it was really quite clear once I really become committed to Christ again, because I kind of stopped watching inappropriate stuff. I sort of don't really swear at all anymore unless I'm maybe really frustrated and caught off guard a bit. I don't tell filthy jokes. I come to God when I need help. Say if I had a bad day pre being a Christian, I might have put on some music and had a few drinks to try and change my mood or something like that. Where now music's still a big part of my life, but it's not my idol that I go to when I need some comfort or something like that. So I feel like God really rearranged the order of some things in my life.
Yeah, so it wasn't you externally trying to become a better person. It was God changing your heart and then that playing out in your behaviour.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, other people could see that change. Like, I was really talking to Adele's mum the other day, and she's like, I remember when Glen first rocked up, he'd often let some swear words out and stuff like that. He didn't seem to care that we were there and stuff like that. And so even that's, I guess, a good witness to people that they see some of that change.
Yeah. That's great, Glen. Thanks for sharing that. So as we sort of wrap this up, have you got a favourite Bible verse or scripture that means a lot to you?
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and I think there's a bit of a dead heat, a bit of a tie between Isaiah 53 and John 1. I think both of those scriptures really kind of blow you away with how great God is. And obviously in Isaiah 53, well before Jesus comes onto the scene, he's just really showing you what's going to happen and what Christ is going to look like and what he's going to do for us and how he'll be rejected. And it's just when you read that, actually, after knowing what Jesus went through, it's a major scripture. And it's probably also a key piece of passage that would bring people to faith, whether they're from other faiths or it's just
Yeah.
pretty amazing. And also John 1, because it's, sometimes I think you can just focus on God, but John, through that scripture really helps you realize that Jesus was there from the very beginning, and he was so pivotal in everything that God did with creation. And I think I get pretty in awe. I can just read that every time, and it's never a dull passage to go over.
Yeah, John really sort of makes a statement at the start, doesn't he, to say that Jesus was fully man but also fully God. Yeah.
So they're the ones that really, really important for me.
Yeah, that's great, Glenn. Thank you very much for sharing just a little bit of your story with us, and I'm sure the church will enjoy listening to it. So thank you.
Thank you very much.